Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and I love all things skincare, and I especially love finding great beauty products, high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that's what you're interested in, just keep on watching. Whew. So I have a quick video for you guys today that I thought I would do while I was getting ready. And this was actually an idea that came up that I posted on my Instagram. So I asked y'all if y'all would be interested in hearing me talk about whether or not I thought luxury products were worth it. And you guys said yes, so I figured while I am taking out my twist out, I would have this conversation with y'all. So let's just jump into it, right? Okay, so is luxury makeup worth it? Well, short answer is it depends. And that is it. That's the end of my video. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will see you all in the next one. Just kidding. Anyways, yes. So is luxury makeup worth it? The answer really is it depends, because when you think about whether or not something is worth it and whether or not something has value, that is a really kind of individual choice, right? So if you are really considering diving into the luxury makeup market, I definitely think that you have to decide for yourself if luxury makeup is worth it. But in order for you to get there, I did want to talk about sort of like 5 categories that you might want to consider if you are thinking about diving into the luxury makeup market. So, why do you have to start this car so loud? So there are 5 categories that I want to talk about when it comes to luxury makeup, and they are formula, packaging, longevity, creativity, and inclusivity. And I think that these are like key areas that you want to keep in mind when you are looking for luxury makeup, but also when you're looking for makeup in general. I think it's really important to consider all of these things before you make any makeup related purchases. So when it comes to formula or the quality of luxury makeup, I would definitely say that it is superior from my experience. And I'm thinking mainly of like eyeshadows here. And I definitely think that the formula that luxury makeup has is much better than drugstore makeup for sure, and than most high-end makeup products. And when I'm thinking about like luxury makeup here, I'm thinking about the Tom Fords, the Pat McGraths, the Natasha Denonas, the Chanels, the Dior. That is the type of makeup that I'm talking about here. And the reason why I say that I do think it is superior is because from having worked with some luxury makeup, and I don't have all of these brands, but the ones that I do have from working with them, I will say that I find it a lot easier to work with. And by that I mean the shadows blend easier, they don't kind of disappear into nothingness, they don't get muddy on the eyes, you don't have to manipulate them too much to get it to work. They just kind of work, which is what I appreciate from makeup in general. I don't want to buy or use makeup that takes a lot of effort to make work, because that just makes the process frustrating and not fun for me. So when it comes to luxury makeup and quality, or the formulation of luxury makeup, I would definitely say that it is superior. So the next category that I want to talk about is packaging. And when it comes to packaging, luxury makeup blows it out of the water. Now, if makeup for you is primarily something that just needs to be functional, you may not care a lot about packaging, and quite frankly, and understandably so, you may not want to pay a ton of extra money just to get pretty packaging. But if you're here for the whole experience of buying and using makeup, luxury makeup has the best packaging. For example, Pat McGrath's Mothership shadows come in these packages, and they are just art. So if you like having makeup that you can display, or just you want to look at the boxes or even the actual components themselves, absolutely gorgeous. And I give them 10 out of 10 stars for packaging because it is so gorgeous. So the next category that I want to talk about is longevity. And I want to talk about longevity from sort of 2 different aspects. So 1, how long the makeup actually stays and performs on the face, and then 2, how long the makeup remains relevant. So starting with performance on the face, what I will say that I've noticed from using luxury makeup is that it lasts very well. So you can put on some shadows or whatever it is 7 o'clock in the morning, and come 5 o'clock, it's still looking the exact same way it did when you put it on, which is what I appreciate. So if you are somebody who has like a 9-hour day, 8-hour day, whatever it is, and you want to make sure that your makeup still looks good, still looks fresh, still looks there for the entire time that you have it on, you might want to dive into the luxury makeup market, because I do find that drugstore makeup specifically tends to fade, and some high-end products don't last as long as I would like them to last, especially when it comes to eyeshadows and like shimmer shadows. Like, you'll put it on in the morning, it'll look great, it'll be like, bam, here I am, glitter, glam, everything. And by midday, 2 o'clock, all of the glitter done fall off your face, and you can't even tell what the look was supposed to be from when you initially had it on, right? So when it comes to longevity and lasting on your face, my experience is that luxury products tend to outperform drugstore and even some high-end products in terms of how long it stays on the face and how fresh it looks. Now, the other side of longevity that I wanted to talk to you all about is how long it remains relevant. And I want to talk about this because what I found is that a lot of times I see that the drugstore and the high-end brands tend to put out these really trendy makeup, right? So it's hot and it's a good trend now, so yes, they want to put it out there. And I'm thinking like a rainbow highlighters and all those types of things that are like cool for like a very specific period of time. Now, that might be great for that moment, but a year or two from now, you might not want to, you might find yourself not revisiting those products that were created out of trends, because, you know, the trends have passed. It's no longer relevant for you to wear them. And what I found is that a lot of times luxury products, or at least the luxury products that I have in my collection, they aren't a part of like these fad trends, but they will still remain relevant at any period in time. And I think part of that is because of the fact that I found that luxury makeup is created for an older demographic, for a more mature demographic of people who aren't looking to follow the trends, but who are looking to keep it classy, keep it grown but sexy. So the makeup is meant to look like that and meant to look timeless. It's not meant to be a, oh, well, this is gonna look good only in the summertime or only for this one specific period when this has become like a cool trend. And that's just my opinion. Now, I do know that, you know, there are high-end and even drugstore brands that are creating timeless makeup as well. But anytime I think of like trendy makeup or like fast fads, luxury brands don't come to mind for me. It's always like the ColourPop. Honestly, it really is only ColourPop that comes to mind immediately when I think about makeup that's trendy, that is only relevant for like a couple of months and then you never pick it up again because the trend has passed, right? So the next category that I wanted to talk about was creativity. And this is where I'm thinking about, does luxury makeup give you inspiration? And this I had like 50-50 thoughts on, because I think that there are some luxury brands that are very creative and that really do inspire me. But there are some luxury brands that I find to be pretty boring and just like, you know, they know what works for them and they just keep doing what works for them. So on the creative side of things, I'm thinking about like Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona. Pat McGrath has like the most amazing color stories that are just unique and absolutely creative, and they push me to try new things, and it's really inspiring. And she also has like really unique formulas. Like her Blitz Astral formula, I think, is absolutely amazing. I've tried nothing like it. And even Natasha Denona, she has her like creamy matte formula that she has in her palettes, and she comes up with these like interesting color stories like the Metropolis palette that inspire me and make me like very excited. But then I think there are the brands like Tom Ford, and to be quite honest, Tom Ford has a lot of eyeshadow quads that look exactly the same, literally exactly the same. And I think that there are other luxury brands that do have these kind of similar color stories or similar trends that don't really change. Even like Charlotte Tilbury, I think every Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow looks the exact same. It's these light beiges that probably won't work on my skin tone, and they don't inspire me. I don't feel excited when I see a Charlotte Tilbury quad. And even though I love the Tom Ford formula, it doesn't make me feel super creative. It does reassure me though that if I put this on, it's gonna work and it's gonna look good because the formula is great. But I have seen like 5 nude or 5 neutral Tom Ford quads that honestly look so similar that if I were to put them on the eye, no one would be able to differentiate the difference. Oh my gosh, I'm still not done with my hair. And the last category that I want to talk about is inclusivity and how diverse a brand is. And to be quite honest, I think that this is where most luxury brands fail. Now, I want to acknowledge that there are brands that are inclusive. There are luxury brands that are inclusive, that create products that work for a wide variety of skin tones and wide variety of skin ranges. And kudos to them. Like, I'm giving them props, but honestly, you shouldn't have to give a brand props for doing the right thing. They should just be doing it regardless, right? So, whatever. And it's really disappointing that this is the area where most of these brands fail, because when you think about luxury makeup, these aren't indie brands that are just starting out, that are just finding their footing, and that are just building their client base. These are fashion powerhouses. These are names of multi-billion-dollar companies, right? Chanel, Tom Ford, Dior. Like, they can afford to create diverse skin tone ranges. They can afford to create diverse products. The thing is that they are actively choosing not to, and that's not okay. It's never been okay, but it really isn't okay. And I'm glad that there are more people that are talking about the fact that it isn't okay, because it is important to keep talking about it. And I would love to see more luxury makeup become more inclusive, because I know that there is a market for this out there. There are people of darker skin tones that are interested in getting into luxury makeup, but they can't do so because they can't find the products in their shade. And one of the first examples that comes to my mind is the Marc Jacobs bronzer. Now, the darkest shade in the Marc Jacobs bronzer barely bronzes me, and I am not even that deep. So the fact that the darkest shade barely works for me is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Also, Hourglass. Like, how many times has Hourglass put out products that honestly I couldn't even use as a setting powder on my face? And they keep reformulating and putting out new products and actively not choosing to include more deeper skin tones or whatever the case is. Like, nah, we well past the fact of asking nicely for brands to be more inclusive. Like, there are a ton of options out there, and if there are indie brands that can come up with diverse skin tone, that can come up with diverse products that work for a range of skin tones, they have no excuse, because they have the money. They have the money, they have the time, and the technology exists. So I don't want to hear it. And I don't think anybody should hear it. Nobody should have to put up with the fact that they can't find a product from a specific brand, or they can't use a product from a specific brand because they can't find it in their skin tone. It's ridiculous. So, to wrap up that little rant, I say all of that to say that, you know, if diversity and inclusion is a key factor for you, as it should be, you know, this is the area where I feel like most luxury brands fail the most. So to kind of wrap up my whole thoughts on whether or not luxury brands are worth it, I wanted to give an overall grade for each category. And then, honestly, it's up to you to decide. What I can say, though, is that when I did take a look at my collection, I realized that I have decluttered like the vast majority of products at a drugstore, and my collection is pretty much only high-end and luxury, which means that I actually do like the products because they're here, right? So I will definitely say that for me, it is worth it, but it 100% is a personal decision, and you have to decide if this is where you want to invest your money. But to get into the grading, so starting off with the first category of formulation or the quality of the products themselves, I would definitely give luxury makeup an A. I think when it comes to formula, luxury formulas are absolutely splendid. They're super unique, and they work really, really well. For the second category, which is packaging, again, I would have to give luxury makeup an A. I think they get an A for like these really creative collector's pieces that can be displayed, that just look absolutely gorgeous, and that create a full experience. Because for some people, the experience isn't just putting it on and having it on your face, it's the actual act of like purchasing and getting the product itself, right? So the third category is longevity. Here, I think I'll definitely give luxury makeup a B because I do think that there are some products that perform better than others. But for the vast majority of them, they are pretty good when it comes to longevity. So I'll give them a B here. When it comes to creativity and inspiration, this I think I'm going to give a C because I do believe that it is a 50-50 range where there are like half the brands do really well, like putting out creative, innovative products, and the other half I think are just kind of like doing what they know works and just kind of sticking with the status quo and not being super innovative. And the last category is inclusivity and diversity. And I think that there are some brands that deserve an A, absolutely. But overall, I'm going to give like this category an F because I think that they need to be doing more and they can be doing more. And it is well past the time of us like giving praise for brands doing the things that they should have been doing all along. So they get an F when it comes to inclusivity. Anyways, that is it for me, guys. I hope hearing me talk a little bit about my experience with luxury makeup has helped. I would love to know from your perspective if it is worth it. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my hair and I will be right back to say bye-bye. Okay, and I am back and this is the final look with my hair, my twist out fully taken out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.